Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Niladri Mukherjee and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I practice here in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and I'm also the founder and the CEO of Nuvonation Immigration Consulting. So the question that we get the most these days is that when IRCC is going to conduct a CEC specific draw, a Canadian Experience Class specific draw. So far the draws that we have seen are mostly no application specific. So when there is going to be that application specific draw or a category specific draw, in this case, which is CEC. But if you take a look at the kind of people that are being invited these days are predominantly the CEC candidates. So unless and until score really falls below 470 mark or 465 marks, it is a little difficult for majority of the overseas candidates to get invited. So though IRCC is not saying that it's a CSC specific draws or the draws that have been conducted in 2022 were CSC specific, in reality or practically speaking, majority of the invitees of those draws are already in Canada with some kind of either Canadian education or with Canadian work experience, right? So what does this mean for a lot of you that have been watching this video from outside Canada without any Canadian experience, without any Canadian education? Well, it is quite clear. The government really doesn't want majority of its immigrants to be coming from fresh outside the country without either a Canadian education or a Canadian experience. In other words, if you are to look for your PR sometime in the future, probably it's a good idea to come here temporarily first. And by temporarily, I mean either as a either as a student or as a worker. Get yourself either a Canadian work experience or degree or both, probably. Learn French if possible, at least a little bit, to score reasonably well in the exam, and then try to look for PR options. If you are waiting from outside the country and thinking that, well, my CRS is 450, 460, probably I will get an invite. But if you are not in a hurry, you can definitely wait for the PNPs to invite you, if at all. But if you are looking to do things a little bit more in a proactive fashion, it may be a good idea to come here as a student, to come here as a worker, get yourself a Canadian degree or a work experience, and then eventually get yourself a Canadian PR. Now, coming here is, as a worker from outside Canada is something which is easier said than done. Getting a job offer here in Canada is not very easy. It's not really impossible, but it's not easy as well. What is relatively more achievable is to come here as a student, get yourself a Canadian degree, ideally a 2-year one, work on, while your post-graduation work permit is valid. So hence get yourself a Canadian work experience as well, accumulate all those extra points, and then look for PNPs, then look for direct PR, which is very, very reasonable and achievable to say the least. And this trend is going to continue in the year 2023 and maybe in 2024 as well. So gone are the days when you come here as a PR. I'm not saying that not everybody is doing that, but at least 90% of the folks that are being invited these days or will probably be invited in the year 2023 will need to have some kind of a Canadian education or a work experience, unless and until the minister goes for the very specific targeted draws, about which we just know the press release, nothing concrete so far, right? So if you are wondering, well, I'm not in an age to become a potential student, I have a family to take care of, there are many things that are new as of right now. For example, irrespective of your age, no matter whether you're 45 or 50, if you're able to provide a good study permit application, probably you will, your application will be approved. All of your family member would be able to come here as well. And you are then allowed to work for 40 hours a week, meaning that more than a full-time employment, to get yourself salaries to fund your education, right? So there are a lot of things that are new. There are a lot of moving parts that have been working. But if you're thinking there is no CEC specific draw, yes, technically, practically speaking, all the guys that are being invited so far, majority of them were in Canada. So technically they were again part of CEC. And if you're looking to make a move to Canada in the year 2023, or maybe planning to wrap up your immigration process by 2024, then probably coming here as a student, again, for majority of you, will act as the major option. If you would like me to assess your option over a consultation, feel free to send me an email or book a consultation directly through the website. We'll be more than happy to talk to you to see what could be done best for you. Hope this helps. See you guys in the next one. Bye now. Cheers.